No one can tell me that Yuji doesn't have a sense of humor. He may not make the most reactions with his face. He may not, fluctuate his vocal tones too much. But the man is a funny guy. He really is, all things considered. He just has that more dry sense of humor, as I pointed out. But just casually walking in, as you have Style on the ground, basically chained up, been betrayed by the person that he's been trusted. Old pal, who now runs a cult, Walter, over here, is about to finish him off. Yuji comes in just saying, hey, I kind of want to talk about this dagger you gave me. Like, what's going on here with this whole prophecy? But you know what, I guess maybe it's not the best time to actually talk about something because you are a little tied up here. We all know Yuji was going to fight the cult eventually, but I thought it was kind of hilarious how they so casually got him to kind of commit to that fight, rather than him just saying, you know what, I really have no interest fighting a cult, I'm kind of just trying to travel from one location to another. I do seem to be kind of roped into things in a way that makes me seem like the chosen hero, not really something I want, but it's getting a little hard to deny. Not only is he kind of reflecting on just things that have happened, I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes ago, maybe 3 episodes, when he was talking to the one woman who was at the desk there where you kind of exchange your quests and everything. She talks about like an ancient person who, very similar to Yuji, used monsters for transportation and everything. So it's kind of feeling like, history's repeating itself and now Yuji's that same type of hero. He was granted the dragon-slaying dagger, and as we saw, he kind of does seem like the chosen hero despite not wanting to be. So it's interesting to see, because you have this cult that has been kind of doing everything more or less that we've seen up until this point. It seems like the only thing they weren't directly responsible for potentially was the blue dragon, because that kind of seems like a freak accident that they were just happy that it occurred. But all the things that we've experienced up to this point is the cult doing, right? They keep throwing things at, just villages and even attempting to kill him, and nothing is working out, and this man just comes out on top. I thought what was going to happen initially when you saw, because basically he goes into like the guild area and immediately people are like viewing him, so he immediately nopes out of there and leaves a slime, and he's listening in and drinking something. I don't know if he's getting drunk or what he's doing, but then you see in the reflection, you see Style as well as the kid next to him, and I was like, oh shit, something's gonna happen here, like, a stab to the back or attempted, and then instead it's just more so getting him acquainted of like what's going on with this kind of like chosen prophecy path. And I really didn't see the betrayal coming when it came to this, I think Johan, I think was his name, mainly because like there's so many like shady looking characters on screen over the past few episodes, because when dealing with a cult, when people are literally covered in robes, right, just seems like they're up to no good. So when you see that, this man who, gave me a dagger, gave me, a lot of like help, all things considered, I just kind of felt like, if anything, the kid would have been used against him, like, because quickly he was kicking ass, he was powering up. We didn't really see a lot of his martial arts, we got a little brief taste of it at one point, but he clearly, despite his older age, was kicking ass and he was taking names. So I thought they were gonna do like something where he was so strong that they had to like use the kid against him. Wasn't expecting the betrayal in that way, and that actually caught me off guard. And something that you'll see, like a common thing that I'll say in these videos, is that this show's not extraordinary, and I don't think it's trying to be extraordinary. In fact, I think it's just trying to be a solid-ass isekai watch that has a fun cast of characters. In moments like these, like seeing how, especially because it did such a great directing job, rewinding back to the very beginning of this anime, showing all the crucial points and why they're so fixated on Yuji. I thought they did such a good job to show us that this wasn't just a simple, oh, the author and, the studio, they planned a couple episodes ahead, and then they planned a couple episodes ahead. No, like, there was a general arc here. There was a general path, and even if it seems a little simple at the time, as I said in prior videos, simple doesn't equal bad. Simple can be just as fun as some of the most complex things, because, it's not really trying to do too much, so therefore it doesn't step on his toes as much as those complex stories. But I do find myself appreciating the journey that we've seen over 10 episodes a lot more, now that I see just how everything actually was connecting all this time. And while Yuji may not crack the most smiles or may not, seem the most exciting, I just find that he's a perfect character for a show like this. I mean, you already have a bundle of slimes that are constantly doing stuff. Proud Wolf's always making the goofiest faces. It just makes sense to have a more cool, calm, neutral character who had a pretty shitty life, all things considered, and now is actually enjoying things more than he probably ever expected. I mean, based on the fact that food is such a luxury in this world for him. It kind of seems like he was probably never eating anything good in his original office job, given the overwork, given the stress, and probably the lack of free time. It's just cool to see how he's getting accustomed and going from not wanting to help unless absolutely forced to now recognizing that he kind of has to basically incorporate himself more. Like, he presents things in ways that, like, okay, you know, I gotta do this because I want to basically make monster armor. So if I fight a fire dragon, therefore I can do that. Yes, that is a main drive, but he also recognizes, like, who else is going to go kill a fire dragon, else the entire village is going to be destroyed. He quickly leaves places because, one, he doesn't want to get people recognizing that this boy over here is super strong, always dealing with catastrophic events with his pinky finger, but at the same time, it just feels like he's more accustomed to recognizing that he has such a skill level that others don't, that if he comes into contact with anything that seems shady, it is up to him to deal with it. It's just he quickly leaves in hopes that people won't recognize that he's the one who actually is the saving grace. Like, I'm not here to say this is like a crazy character arc that went up and down and took us for a ride, but it is a character arc nonetheless, where it feels like it's subtle, and you could easily gloss over it, but Yuji actually has evolved quite a lot with his mentality of the reason he helps. He was very, very reluctant in the first couple of episodes, but now it feels like he kind of is okay with it because he recognizes basically his gift in this kind of crazy-ass world that he's come to actually enjoy, from the relationships that he started to build, whether it's the man building his armor to, you know, the numerous little side characters that he's met across these 10 episodes. It's great to see, like, what's happening and the way everything has kind of come full circle, and with 2 episodes left to go of this season, I think they're ending on the most interesting thing possible. I thought the cultist plotline was going to end like 6 episodes ago, or 5 episodes ago, when initially we went into that weird village and we're like, what the hell is going on here? Like, shit's not looking good. And instead, they saved it for the final hurrah, and I really don't think there was anything else they could have ended on that would be quite as exciting, because I truly think cultist plotlines are some of the most interesting, and I really wish we got to see more of them, especially in fantasy series, because they feel like a perfect recipe for success in a magical medieval-esque world, and cults up to no good with their magic shenanigans. There's one moment in this episode, I used it for the thumbnail, where the slime gets grabbed by one of, like, the cultist hands. It's just really fun to see how they're continuing to just play with the slime persona, whether it's them just, like, visually reacting to our boy saying, hey, bring some slimes, as many as you need, because we're gonna go investigate. And I love how he just so casually looks at it. He's like, yeah, I said you could bring some, but isn't this a bit much? I love the just casual, nonchalant attitude that goes on with these characters, and just the whole idea that because the slimes are so useful, like, while he's sleeping or doing whatever, he can have his slimes literally surround an entire city. So if he's looking for someone, he can talk to 1,000 slimes saying, hey, did you see so-and-so? No, no, no. Oh yeah, they left right in the morning. It's really cool to see how they're both a useful weapon, a useful tool in terms of like tracking, but also just an adorable personality that just elevates the show to a different level than if they weren't a part of it, right? But enjoyable episode, not the most extraordinary, and I don't really think the show's trying to be the most extraordinary, but I do find myself appreciating the overall journey over these episodes more now that I see how everything has actually been clicking this entire time. But thoughts down below, theories if you got any with the last couple of episodes here. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.